Hi friends, I'm Oktay Sinanoğlu. I'm a Turkish language lover. I have the title of the youngest professor in the world. I was born in 1935 in Bari, Italy. My father, Consul General Nuket Hashim Bey. My mother is Rüveyda Hanım, a journalist writer. I love my success to using my mind and heart together. I think the only thing that multiplies when shared is knowledge. I spent a part of my childhood in Istanbul. We were living in Güzel İzmir apartment in Taksim. In front of us was a stationery shop selling wooden model airplane materials. I used to look out of our third floor window at the wooden planes and fairies in the display case. Those who came to the stationery store were big brothers and sisters in their 20s. I guess they must have been getting model airplanes for projects at their school. I was only 8 years old. One day, while we were watching the stationery showcase from our window, my mother said, "Shall we get you a model of airplane too?" she said. At that moment, I burst with joy. Then we started making my first model plane with my mother. First, we cut the pieces one by one and glued them together with my mother according to the drawings. I decided to make the third plane myself. I struggled for hours and thought about the smallest detail. I went to school in the morning and continued to make my plane in the afternoon. I finished the plane in 4 days. Here, it looked like a real plane. It was amazing. My biggest hobby in primary school was making airplanes and reading books. On the other hand, I was building model airplanes, and on the other hand, I was reading whatever I could find. We moved to Ankara due to my mother's work. I started TED Yenişehir High School. My interest in science was getting stronger day by day. I had almost turned our house into a laboratory. My parents were my biggest supporters in my experiments. My first experiments sparked excitement throughout the apartment. Minor explosions in the houses began to seem as normal by the neighbors after a while. During the days when I was busy with experiments, I graduated from my high school at the top. I was now one of the students selected to be sent abroad. However, I was not all happy with this situation. At that age, I had a great love of homeland and nation. I didn't want to go to America, but my teacher's words changed my mind. You go there, represent yourself and us in the best way possible. You can do whatever you want on your return. One day, I would go back and do good work in my homeland, which I loved so much with what I've learned. I never gave up on this dream. I remembered what my teacher said, but the transformation would take 20 years. My school sent me to the USA with a full scholarship to study chemical engineering. I made my teachers proud one more time, and I graduated from the University of California Chemical Engineering Department as the top student. After completing 2 years science and technology school in 8 months, I became a graduate engineer and received the Alfred Sloan Award. All my life, I was busy with science. I knew that those who were not busy with good work, bad deeds would occupy them. When I was 22, I started teaching at my university. Solving unsolved mathematical theory when I was 26. I received the title of professor. I am one of the youngest people in the history to receive this title. I started teaching chemistry at Harvard University. At the age of 32, the Middle East Technical University conferred me the title of consulting professor for the first and only time. I was working 18 hours a day while all this was going on. My advice to you is to work regularly and in a planned way. At Yale University, I was appointed as second chair as a professor. I was going to contribute to humanity in science of biology, along with the science of chemistry. The Grand National Assembly of Turkey enacted a special law, and I was entitled the title of Professor of the Republic by the GNAT. I won the German Science Award at the age of 37 and the Japan International Distinguished Scientist Award at the age of 39. I was sent to Japan as the Special Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey. I developed Turkish-Japanese culture, science and education relations. I was the first and only Turkish member of the American Academy of Science and Arts. I received the Mexican Republic Higher Science Award. I was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Science from 2 different countries. I became one of the first professors of the newly established molecular biology branch in the world. I explained where and how DNA is placed. I delivered lectures on inventions and theories in many parts of the world. I can speak 5 languages at a conference level. Of course, I owe this to my well-learned Turkish. The way you learn a foreign language is to learn your own language well. I focused my studies on projects for the simple teaching of chemistry. In 1993, I turned to Turkey and started to work as a professor in the Department of Chemistry at Yıldız Technical University. I retired from this position in 2002. After the state, I devoted myself to the Turkish language. As a scientist who speaks 5 languages, I say that Turkish is the best language of science. I contributed to science throughout my life. I solved many chemistry, physics and biology problems that scientists struggled with but could not solve. I dedicated my life to Turkish and science. Dear children, you are the future of great Turkey. Choose high goals for our country and humanity with yourself and work hard for those goals. Remember, people who do good work are remembered well years later. May the best tomorrow be yours.